of the consequences. We know this incident tonight involved a dispute among several men. We do not yet know what that dispute was about, but we do know that an innocent bystander lost her life. Chief Hernandez is going to give you the details of this investigation so far, but I want to be clear. We will spare no resource to bring the individuals responsible for tonight's violence to justice. Chief Hernandez?
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm Deputy Chief Eric Hernandez, the Executive Officer of Detective Bureau Bronx. With me is Deputy Inspector John Paquet, the Commanding Officer of the 46th Precinct, Captain Muhammad Ashraf, 4-6 Zone Commander, and Lieutenant Robert Foley from the 4-6 Detective Squad. The information I'm about to provide you is preliminary in nature, as this investigation is only in its infancy, only 2 hours old. What I can tell you is that at approximately 7:05 p.m., officers from the 46th Precinct responded to numerous calls of a person shot at the grocery store behind me, located at 164 East 188th Street between Crescent and the Grand Concourse. Upon their arrival, they encountered a 61-year-old female bleeding heavily from a gunshot wound to the back. Officers immediately requested EMS to the scene, applied quick clot bandages to her injury, and performed CPR for life-saving attempts before EMS arrived. EMS removed our victim to St. Barnabas Hospital, where unfortunately she was pronounced deceased. The preliminary investigation reveals that there are two groups of men having a dispute on the south side of 188th Street between Crescent and the Grand Concourse. At some point, multiple guns are pointed at each other, with one gun we verified as firing shots down towards the Grand Concourse, striking our victim. As I stated earlier, the investigation is preliminary in nature. We ask for the public's help. We have scores of detectives from the 46th Precinct, Bronx Homicide, and resources throughout the borough. We'll be here during the night, back tomorrow, canvassing for witnesses, physical evidence, and video evidence as well. I'll take any questions.
Chief, when you say that two groups of people with multiple guns, I assume you have video of this?
We have secured some video evidence. Our detectives are still, once again, preliminarily looking for more video, canvassing for witnesses, and collecting the physical evidence. We do have ballistic evidence at the scene here.
Chief, do you know what the victim was doing at the time? Was she grocery shopping or walking outside? Or
We're confident this is a tragic incident. This person was just walking down the street. She had no involvement in this dispute whatsoever. Complete innocent bystander. We're confident of that.
Any idea what the dispute began as, or how the two groups knew each other?
Absolutely none. Not yet. Yes, sir.
For the police commissioner, if that's okay. You petitioned Albany in recent days for changes to bail reform, specifically targeted at gun crimes. In the 4-3 precinct, there was an 18-year-old arrested for murder out in a prior gun case from November of last year. How do you explain to people you have a 61-year-old person walking down the street, killed? How do you explain to lawmakers that pretrial detention changes in bail are necessary?
We're just going to stay on topic of this now. We'll topic for another day. We'll stay on this incident again.
Well, could I, Commissioner? It's slightly more on topic. It has to do with the sense of people on the street and what they feel living in New York. We talked to a woman who was here, is a witness, who said they took somebody's life, but what are we going to do? This is New York City. This is what's going on. What do you say to civilians in New York who are watching this and hearing, obviously, the plans that you are all making to try to address this, but seeming to still ignore?
Well, I don't subscribe to that this is New York and this is the way that it is. It's not. We are doing everything we possibly can and that we know how to do well to prevent and deter this violence and to apprehend the offenders. So I don't subscribe to the fact that this is New York and that's the way that it is. That's unacceptable to me.
Commissioner, does this neighborhood have one of the neighborhood safety teams? And if not, do you think that would have made a difference here? If they do have it, what went wrong, or can you give us some perspective on that?
This precinct does have a neighborhood safety team, and they also have supplemental deployment. So we're putting additional resources in this area as well.
Okay, two more, News 12.
This just comes after a 12-year-old in Brooklyn was shot and killed. He was the unintended target. What assurances can New Yorkers have that they'll be safe? They won't be a target. They won't be hit by a stray bullet when they're just walking down the street.
I can say the same thing I just said. We are focusing all of our resources, putting additional manpower on the street, starting initiatives to be able to target the offenders and address the precursors to violence as well. So we are absolutely focused on curbing the violence in the city and apprehending the offenders who commit it.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, I think do you want to say something?
Good for
Okay,
now.
so we're good. Yeah, we're good. Thank you. Thank you for your time.